Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast, a podcast all about the hit HBO series, The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
So if you're new to the force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. So as we always do, we will start by popping a recap. Barksdale plays an expensive game of one-upsmanship with an Eastside rival. Meanwhile, Herc and Carver take some cash off of Weebay's hands, and Omar resurfaces with a bang.
Yeah.
Written this time by David H. Melnick and Shamit Choksi. These are two names that are new to me. Interesting.
Okay.
And directed by Milcho Manchevsky. So quite an interesting cast of characters that are contributing to this episode. But in any case, all right, Ellie, what did you think of Game Day?
Oh, I liked this one. This was really exciting. I liked the basketball game, and man, this one is very intense at the end, as we will talk about.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the interesting thing to ask is, I would like to get this off the top. So we were introduced to Proposition Joe.
Yep.
What was your impression of the man?
So he's definitely more level-headed, I would say, than Avon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does not seem to have the level of paranoia that he has. Doesn't seem to be, he's clearly like a cool cat.
Okay.
Compared to Avon is
Yep.
what I saw. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a leading question. I was curious because you had asked when we talked about the chess game,
Yeah.
who the other king is.
Yeah.
And did that register with you that this is now like a rival?
What? I mean, no, it did not until you just said it just now. I did
Okay.
not think about that.
Okay.
That could be the other king. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how this plays out. But for right now, all we know is that Prop Joe essentially set Omar on Avon. So
Right.
kind of very interesting. Okay.
Right.
All right. Any other questions that came out to you before we get started?
No, I have some, but I'll ask them,
Okay.
as we go through it.
Okay. Sounds good. And so why don't you kick us off with the epigraph?
Yeah, the epigraph is "Maybe We Won," said by Herc.
Yep. And so the title of the episode is Game
Game Day.
And there are quite a few games that we will get into. So I like that the epigraph is "Maybe we won the game," which of course is silly. So, okay, well, let's get started then.
Okay, yeah, we're going to start with the beginning on this. Normally, we kind of follow storylines, but this one is so woven, so many scenes that we are actually going to begin at the beginning, though we may jump around as we get along here. So we open up with Stringer and Barksdale at a basketball court, and they are watching a prospective basketballer at a local junior college, and we find out that they want him to play on their West Side team for a basketball tournament that's going down in the projects. Now, we also there get an Omar update. We find out that he is in the wind and he is doing some Robin Hood shit, giving away drugs for free, making nice with all the people. So I guess people want to kind of protect him or hide him or whatever. He's making some goodwill. And Stringer clearly wants Avon to let it go. Avon is worried about the example that is going to set. Anyway, so we get a little bit of that. We go back to the whole thing with the basketball player. They end up going in, Avon goes in 20 grand in all for this sandbagger, right? Like 10 grand to the kid, 5 to the organization, and 5 to the coach who set it up.
Yep.
So they have a sandbagger for their game. All right.
Yeah, and it's there's something a little bit, it just makes my skin crawl a little bit just to see this guy, he's connected to organized crime in some way, that the coach, or whoever this guy is, and he's taking his kickback and, and it's all for a basketball game for the projects. It's really pretty strange.
I
to
know.
watch
And when
this.
he asked for that extra $5,000 at the end for making this happen, that Avon kind of smiles and laughs and is like, oh yeah, you got to get yours too, or whatever. I didn't expect that. I really kind of thought Avon be like, grumbly about it or whatever. So it was kind of weird to see that.
Yeah. Although it's on this, by the same token, Avon not blinking really when the guy asked for $5,000.
Yeah, exactly. That's the drop in the bucket.
Ain't shit for free. So
yep.
Yeah. So just a quick pause there. Did you kind of, obviously you're you understood that they were evaluating this guy, but how you didn't know about the basketball game until later.
That's true.
Was it confusing at all to you about that, or did you just kind of let's see what plays out?
I assumed that he was trying to get him for, I didn't know what, but it was clear to me that he wanted him for some team of his own. Yeah. And I knew that he had played. I thought maybe it was a team that he was on because we've seen him shooting hoops with Stringer before. But that was kind of my assumption.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just, before we move on this, I just felt bad for that kid that he was playing against because, I mean, that's just like, a 6-year-old playing against his like 13-year-old older brother. It was just everything he tried to do was just getting destroyed. So anyway, all right, we can move on though.
Okay, well, we're gonna now go to the low rises, and this is kind of following up from the last episode. We see, Poot has asked Dee to talk to Wallace, so now we see Dee and Wallace are talking on the disgusting orange couch, and Wallace says, going back to game day and the idea that he doesn't want to play anymore. Yeah, and he says, maybe I'll go back to school, and even that he has to start potentially 2 grades below. He's 16, but he would have to go in as a 9th grader because he hasn't been going to school. And he, as he's talking to Dee, he mentions Stinkum's death, and it's very clear how affected he is by that. And at that point, Dee stops trying to harangue him or change his mind, and instead he pulls out some money, gives him some cash, says there's no strings attached, and is really encouraging to him. He's like, I believe you probably were smart, and you can go far. So it is really a sweet moment, and I was surprised to see that Dee just turned that easily at that point. Maybe kind of saw in him some of Wallace, some of himself in Wallace. Yeah. And relented.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you've always had the impression that D'Angelo has some heart to him. He's not the cold-blooded, natured kind of some of the other guys that, even, and I just made this connection now, but Johnny Weeks sees Bodie later. Yeah. We'll get to that scene, and he's just like, Bodie just like beat the crap out of Johnny Weeks, sent him to the hospital, and D'Angelo just didn't. Right. In that scene, he just walked away from it. So, so you do see that continuing it just to like the likability of D'Angelo, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to transition now to Pryzbylewski and McNulty, who get a call from Kima that Ronnie Moe is on the line. And Ronnie Moe's talking to Weebay, and we find out that there is going to be a money pickup soon.
And, it's really interesting to that part because now you can just see Prez has kind of hit his stride, and they're now really operating well, right? They've got the people on the rooftop, and then they've got President McNulty are watching, and so now you really feel like the game is, from their perspective, they are running it at full speed.
Exactly.
So and of course, like Ronnie Moe, I think we only heard about Ronnie Moe when. At the very beginning, right, when Ronnie Moe got 851 in the very first episode. So he took over D'Angelo's tower, and then, so just...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, like, all these things are kind of weeding together a little bit more. And so, okay.
Yeah, he is one of the people that is ID'd with a hat by Bubs, too, isn't he? Or is he not?
I don't think he was. Okay. Yeah. So, because I think it was just Little Man Weebay, Stinkum, and maybe it was Ronnie Moe. Maybe Ronnie Moe was the other guy. So, okay. All right. We'll continue.
All right. So we're back in the projects now. Dee's telling Bodie and Poot to just leave Wallace alone, right? Just let him do his thing. Poot knows there's more that needs to be done. We'll get back to that in a little bit. But instead, Dee goes to get a call. Oh, sorry. He gets a call. He gets paged, and he goes to the phone. And at the phone, he is ID'd by Herc. So they know it's him, and he's there. And that call ends up being with Carver, who does a terrible Asian accent, pretending that, he is some kind of Asian restaurant of some sort. Yep. Yeah, it's really bad.
Hello, you make order?
Orders.
You make order. Good yakimi.
What?
Oh, no delivery. You make order, you come get. Good yakimi. Good noodle. Extra ketchup.
Fuck was that?
That was my Korean counterman.
Sounded Chinese.
Like you can fucking tell the difference.
he says that he's actually doing his, Korean restaurant owner or waiter or whatever.
Yeah.
And Herc's like, oh, you sounded Chinese instead to me. Doesn't sound like either. I'm half Korean. I'm going to tell you right now. Very not good accents, but that's okay. Very racist, but cool. We're going to move on.
Wait, I'm sorry. I gotta just ask.
Yeah.
What tipped it off for you that it wasn't Korean?
I can just tell.
Okay.
I just know. It just does not sound like, I'm not going to say it sounds Chinese either. I'm not Chinese. It's definitely not a good Korean accent.
Okay, sounds good.
Plus, what was he saying? What the food was? It yakimoki or something?
Yakami?
Yakami.
I don't know. Is it?
What is yakami? I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I should have
It's not
looked
a
it
Korean food. I don't think it's a Chinese food either.
up. Okay, with extra ketchup though.
Yeah,
No, I
with
love
extra
that
ketchup. A
little
lot
line,
of
so,
extra
yeah.
ketchup.
Yeah.
All right. So Weebay and Savino have the money and they are in the car. Herc and Carver pull him over. The money is confiscated. And Weebay and Savino, they pretend to know nothing about the money. Like, I don't know anything about some imaginary money you're taking out of the car right now. And they really don't seem too concerned about this giant bag of money that's being taken out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting now that you mentioned that because it kind of goes back to Avon doesn't care about $5,000.
Right.
And in the game itself, he doubles up. We'll talk about that, but he doubles up to 100,000 almost without thinking about it. So, and then it really ties into what Freeman is laying out to Daniels later. Again, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but like how much money this enterprise is making.
Do we know how much money was when they got Day? How much money was that?
I think it was 20,000.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, that seemed like a bigger deal
I'm
this.
almost sure it was just about 20,000.
Okay.
So,
all right. That makes sense that they're doing 20,000 drops every time. But
yeah. Before you, were you done with the Weebay?
Yep.
Okay. Because I did want to comment on something which struck me this time watching through was how Weebay and Savino are smart enough to say, we don't know what that money is. We don't know how it got there and just play dumb. Yet they're not taught about how to say, no, you're not allowed to search our car, right? So they just, kind of like, hey, get out of the car, but you should, if they don't have a charge, they don't have any.
Exactly.
Well, the probable cause for the police is the wire.
Yeah.
And so that's why they set it up like if you take you pull them over right outside, then you might have to give up the wire. Whereas later on,
I see.
they can say, hey, what'd you pull me over for?
Right.
But they don't protest at all. They just
don't.
kind of
They just get out.
They just kind of get out. Yeah.
Sit on the curb just like they're supposed to.
We ain't got shit. This money right here, I didn't just pull this out of your truck.
What money? Can't be con this limp big cash all day.
Where you guys going with all this?
Like the man said, it ain't ours.
It ain't yours, huh? So you don't mind if we just take it off your hands?
Do what you feel. You pretending to take money about this truck I ain't even know was there.
I know how that shit is. The other day, I took up the sofa cushions on my couch. Found $140 I didn't even know was there.
Y'all ain't got no charge, right?
No, fucker, we do not have a charge. We just got your money. You want it back, you can explain it to the state's attorney where you got it.
Y'all enjoy y'all date now, you hear?
So I don't know necessarily what, other than saying, you don't have permission to search my vehicle, you have to come back with a warrant.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they, I'm sure in terms of the story, or actually if you rewind for a second, Kima saw the behavior, or presumably they could have said, well, we saw the behavior. We saw you getting trash bag from a known drug suspect.
Oh, right.
And you were putting it under your car, under your seat, and you could see it.
Yeah.
So it was visually verifiable. So that gives you probable cause that they could search. But Herc and Carver didn't have that.
Yeah,
so
they just are.
yeah. And so it's now, of course, it's almost like it's not really like super relevant in terms of the procedure there, because obviously it sets up this other kind of, what's the word, angle that you have to be aware of when they interact with Daniels later. But in any case, it's just one of those interesting things where Weebay and Savino are taught about how to talk to the police, but don't kind of know how to like exercise their own constitutional rights to not you know, illegal searches. Yeah. So okay, just sorry, that was a long sidetrack, but I just thought it was kind of interesting.
You know, we'll get to it too, but when they pick up Chardine, they do it hard and fast.
Yeah.
Like she won't know that she doesn't have the right to say no.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that probably is a tactic that's pretty effective.
Sure.
And you see that they're using it in more than one place and more than one person from that area who doesn't realize that they can't, you know, legally be required to do that.
Yeah. Good point.
All right. Shall we move on?
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Okay. So we're still in the low rises. Bubs and Johnny are there, and they are waiting for the new yellow testers. Your new and improved drugs to sample. And they see Waylon there, and they're kind of like, oh, yeah, look at him, you know, high and mighty, trying to get everybody sober, and he's here. Anyway, so Bodhi comes out. I think it's Bodhi that has the testers, right?
Yep.
Bodhi comes out with the testers, and, you know, all the fiends, as they call them, are coming over, and he's like, yeah, line up, you know, go to the back of the line. And they're just, you know, flocking to him. It's a little bit of mayhem to the point where he just throws them, and they go after them like seagulls. Like it is really something. Like it's just kind of a terrible sight to see. He throws them in the grass. They're going around. Bubs picks a couple up. Johnny actually took off because this is what you were talking about before. He remembers that, you know, that's Bodhi's the kid that beat the shit out of him. So Bubs picks a couple up. He goes over to Waylon. He's like, oh, did you get any? I got a few. And Waylon says, you know, I'm here because I'm trying to help get my nephew clean. And, you know, they make a connection.
Hey, you catch one? I got 3 for me.
Use it to Maiden with Samuel Morris.
It's the one day man. Wasn't even that.
Stood up, though.
So why you down at the testing line if you ain't chasing?
Trying to get my little nephew off the corner. His mama sent him up to Cumberland, you know. Try to keep him clean at my grandma's. He ain't anywhere near his bottom. Got to see that bottom coming up at him. Hard, too, because he's young, 24. Most people don't get tired till they're 35, 40. How old are you?
Young and hot.
Waylon, man.
Bubs.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, it's interesting to me about that Bubbles, you know, you think about this quote unquote this resource that they're just scrounging to get. He gets 3, I think, is what he said, and he's still willing to give one to Waylon just to be generous. It's kind of remarkable that you would be willing to give something that you like are scrounging through the grass to get. So and you know, you use the term seagulls, and I think that's a very apt description. And you want to be what's the word, like respectful, but there is a dehumanized aspect to this whole thing. Like it's just like, you know, just Bodhi just throwing these things and just go get him, and I don't care. And, you know, it really feels like, you know, they're just at the lowest of the low.
It's the intention of that part of the show.
Yeah. But as you said, like, I think that, you know, you have the contrast of Johnny seeing Bodhi and like just kind of, instead of, boy, I got to turn my life around, he's just like, okay, I got to figure out another way to get high. Whereas you definitely see like Bubbles is trying to latch on to Waylon and, you know, trying to, and of course we'll see it later when he goes over to his sisters. He is trying to like, he doesn't want to be in this world anymore.
And he admits to Waylon that he didn't even last a day. But Waylon points out, you still got up though. You know, and that's something. So, you know, that clearly means a lot to him.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we are back in the dungeon, as I like to call it, and the team is looking to find out who owns any businesses, or LLCs to be more specific, that are associated with Barksdale. Now, I have to tell you, I had to watch this like a few times to fully understand. Freeman, you know, he very nicely lays it out, but I still had to watch it a couple times to make sure that I really understood.
This is like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, but what if Barksdale is careful? I mean, what if we can't find his name on anything?
In this country,
Somebody's name has got to be on a piece of paper. A cousin, a girlfriend, a grandmother, a lieutenant he can trust. Somebody's name is on a piece of paper. And here's the rub. You follow drugs, you get drug addicts and drug dealers. But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the fuck it's gonna take you.
So we find out that Orlando's is owned by D&B Enterprises, right? Nothing is actually in Avon Barksdale's name.
Right.
And Freeman tells them, corporations have to file a charter with the state secretary. This details the company structure, operations, etc. And they're trying to find any names that are associated, that are showing up in multiple places. It could be the lawyer, it could be, whatever. So we see some things. I think it's Prez is going through like microfiche. Remember doing that in college?
I mean,
researching on microfiche.
I think I just caught the tail end of microfiche.
Oh, me too. Yes. So we see some names: Yolanda Levy, B Square, Triple B, right? A lot of B's for Barksdale, maybe. So we're starting to see how they are building this case with these files, basically these documents that are out there. Yeah.
You said Yolanda. I did not pay attention to that.
Oh, yeah. There's one that's Yolanda Levy that they seem to zoom in on, and so I was just like, I don't know if that's coming up later, what that is.
Well, but the lawyer's name is Maurice Levy.
Right.
Levy.
Oh.
So
Levy.
This is not a spoiler. His wife is not Yolanda, so that's kind of interesting. I wonder if it's an alias or something. But anyway, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's the name that I saw.
Okay.
Wrote it down. Okay, Freeman.
Good job,
thank
Ellie.
you. I was trying to pay attention. Like I said, I watched it a few times.
Way more than I did.
That microfiche. Okay, so Freeman himself goes to the Board of Elections, and he is asking for campaign finance reports for citywide races. And, they're like, that's a lot of pages. He's like, oh, I'll take it all.
Yeah.
And that, as soon as I saw that, I was kind of like, because I've been saying all along, like, Sporel in somebody's pocket. So just seeing this confirmation that there may be something, politicians being paid off or whatever, was just like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was very happy about that.
Yep. Good job. Good call.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, you already saw that, though, to some degree with Clay Davis's Bagman last episode, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
But
okay.
Day is.
But now you see, like, your instinct was right on the money.
Yes.
And now you're seeing it's got some
webs
out there.
Exactly.
Yep.
It feels like it's webs. Like it is really more than just a single person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. I love the
Good job. You love being proven right.
Yes. I like being proven right, but I just like it when things get like kind of, just, I don't like really deep like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll just pause here for a moment, because I think that one of the interesting aspects, and I think that this, I'll keep saying this probably every time it comes up, but if you were to try to explain this without the kind of the montage that's going on, it would be really, like, if it was Lester totally. And then, just send him off and you didn't see that part.
Yeah.
So I like the way that they did that, of course.
I agree.
And then, but I also like the fact that Prez and Sidnor are our proxies, because we're like, we don't know, average user doesn't have any idea about how all this works. And so they're asking these questions and like, what does this mean? And all that stuff. And I, and I like, of course, it's not like we need any more reason to like Sidnor, but he is clearly inquisitive, or he's interested in that kind of thing. So a couple of real positives for Sidnor this time.
I can still like Sidnor. I'm really excited about that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We're going to go back to the low rises. Bubs oh my gosh, this method Bubs uses to steal drugs is crazy. So he is like on a rooftop. Below him, there is this guy. He has his drug stash in a tire behind him, because there's just a tire leaning against the building for no reason. And so he like basically is using a line and a fishing hook to try to, sneak it down there. It's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's straight up cartoon,
much,
like where he's trying to yoink this, these drugs, this bag of drugs. And this guy is freestyling, and it's really not very good. It started kind of interesting, and then he goes into like Patti LaBelle and Regina Bellin.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm lost. Anyways, so he is pulling it out, and he gets seen just as he's like pulling it up over the edge, and he dashes out of there, and then somebody else gets blamed for it. So the guy who has the drugs, he beats the crap out of this other innocent guy who
Yeah.
he thinks is the guilty culprit, just beats him down. And, Bubs sees this and, is kind of like, kind of shook
Yeah.
about it. It's terrible. So he goes back to his
Domicile.
Let's call it that. There's a piano in there. What the hell is there?
Oh, is it really?
There's a piano in that room. I was like, what?
I mean,
Yeah. Just,
if you're leaving a building, you're like, I don't want to.
So he and Johnny have shot up the drugs that they stole, and they are waiting for them to kick in. And then there's like nothing. And Johnny's like, it's Arm & Hammer, like it's baking soda. And you can see Bubs just feels like super pathetic because, he went through all of this. Somebody else got beaten up for what he did. And then it was for nothing. Yeah. This is nothing.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that we have to give credit to Leo Fitzpatrick, who plays Johnny Weeks. And I mean, and of course, not that Andre Arroyo needs any more acclaim because he's so good, but the way that scene unfolds where Johnny looks at Bubbles and he's got this like look on his face of all this work for nothing.
Right.
You just feel for them, and like, Bubbles is just like, I can't believe everything I went through and all this stress and all that, and it just for nothing. It's just, it's really, and I think that like, where I kind of wonder is that I think this is where Bubbles sees his bottom, right? That, whether he hits the bottom is kind of we'll find out. But I think that like he sees it coming at this point. Johnny's like, no, we'll just figure out another plan. Yeah. And Bubbles is like, I see. That's how I interpret it. It's like,
all
I see
the
it coming.
plans too that Johnny can come up with. I just, like from this to the stealing the copper pipes and just all the stuff that you can think up. Like clearly you're an intelligent person, and just like the all of your brain cells that are left are going towards getting your next hit.
Yeah. I mean, that's just. It's not like we need to remind people that drugs are really really bad.
Yeah,
super addictive.
Yep. All right, so let me see here. Herc and Carver now have this 20 grand that they have confiscated, and the bag breaks, and the money's all fallen out of the bag. And Herc makes a little suggestion that maybe not all the money is there. Oh no, is it Carver that does that?
No, Herc tells Carver.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it was spent on something along the way, like tips. Anyways, Carver points out the flaw in that plan to them. So that's kind of laying some groundwork for something that comes along later. But it is, in that moment you're like, whoa, dude, what are you guys thinking about? This is not good, because you think, oh my gosh, they might do that.
Right. Yeah, and it is very interesting, like, because Carver I don't know if Carver had already thought about it, but he catches on right away and just shuts it down also right away, and he's able to see a little bit further.
Yes.
Right? Like Herc is just very much, I have this money in front of me.
Yeah.
How do I get away with it? And Carver's able to see a bigger picture.
Thank God Carver. Herc has Carver.
Yeah.
Otherwise things could be really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving on here. Let's see here. The team is identifying some properties Avon might own at this point. Daniels thinks it's premature, but McNulty points out that as soon as they have a charge on Avon, they can forget about any other crime that may be associated with that, right? At this point, Herc and Carver come in with that money, and they have, let me see, your pictures are from a new payphone. Oh, yes, they'll need an affidavit to tap that one. Anyways, Daniels is like, oh, you want another 30 days?
You all got the Pit Boys on a fresh payphone, right?
Yeah, I'm a caller.
You take pictures?
Fuck yeah.
Good. We're gonna need an additional affidavit to get up on that phone.
Another 30 days, McNulty?
What the fuck did I do? One day he fights, next day he's ready to roll over. Does he want this fucking case or not?
Give him some slack, Jimmy. He's wrestling with the angels on this one.
And McNulty says, my favorite line that he says, the fuck did I do?
Right.
And, we're all thinking exactly what McNulty is thinking. Like, why is Daniel's so pissed off. Like he was the one that was like upset they didn't get they weren't about to get the full amount of time that they were supposed to have before.
Right.
And Freeman says, like, lay off of him. He's wrestling with the angels, which I don't really know what he means by that. Is that, clearly he's talking about the higher ups that are there. I just don't understand why he calls them the angels.
Well, I think he's thinking about it in terms of not that the higher ups are angels, but he wants the case to keep going, but he also has to like keep them from getting in too deep of complications, right? He's like, so I think he's just got to. There are two paths here.
Yeah.
They're both kind of the right path, but he's got to pick one, and it's hard to like work on it. That's how I kind of approach it. Is like he has these good intentions, and he's got to try to play it the right way, and it's. Yeah. There's instead of just being like McNulty, we're like, hey, this is the right thing to do. I'm going to do my job.
Right.
He just doesn't, he's got to work it politically, I guess is kind of how I'm thinking about it. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, regardless, thank goodness Freeman is there as that balance between McNulty and Daniels because, without his level-headedness, nothing would move forward because really Freeman's on the same page as McNulty this entire time. Yeah. And it's only, and we'll get to this later, but it's only him that really can get Daniels to kind of, see what needs to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that, Chris?
I think that the part about feeling premature, I think it's what I liked about Daniels kind of going in there with that attitude is not, I think that he didn't kind of see the possibility. I think it was more like you would want to understand as a viewer, why are they bringing this in now? Like you don't really know what else you're adding. And so getting them to explain like, okay, we got to go all in right now. Like kind of like really helps to raise the stakes of what's happening here. They got to do it all at once. And so that's why they're starting up this whole other thread of that. So, and I think, as you said, like I like the fact that Freeman, you have someone standing in for Freeman, whereas like, when it was, I can't remember which episode it was, a couple of episodes ago, where, it was all like Daniels is a boss and fuck the bosses and all that, and Freeman's standing up for him. So, and it kind of, because Freeman has shown himself to be really good at this job, kind of shuts McNulty down as well, to some degree. So I think that's everything I've got for that. So
okay, well, let's get back to Omar then, because we have not had enough Omar yet. All right, Omar goes home. He sees what's happened at his house. And then he goes to the low rises with a shotgun. And everybody's like, oh, Omar's here. Omar's there. Watch out. Omar's coming. And he keeps on saying, hey, yo. Hey. I loved it. Yeah. I don't know why he said it like that, but I just liked the way that he said it. And he knocks on this door, which we know is the stash house. Mm-hmm. And, I love his comparison of himself to the big bad wolf. Don't make me blow this house down or whatever he says. I do love it. And from inside, they're like, hey, no, we got a MAC-10 in here. Like they got a machine gun. He's like, no, you don't.
Right.
You don't have anything. And, you better give me what I want or else I'm just going to keep on coming back over and over and over again. And they give in. They give him a big bag full of those yellow tester vials. Yeah. So he got what he wanted. It did not take much at all. They knew that he was not messing around.
Yep. Yeah. So I think if I had one question about that, though, okay, if you're going to come back again the next day, wouldn't they have someone there, like some muscle to protect the stash?
You know what? I was wondering about that too. It was like, I am really surprised that this has happened before and then they have no kind of muscle or they're not armed with some weapons or something like that in there. I mean, if they got that much money, that was surprising to me. But maybe it's just like, it's the low rises. Who cares?
Yeah, I think that's probably one
why
part
put
of it.
the effort into it at
that
level?
And it's also, there's an interesting question too about, their muscle, they have Stinkum, who's dead now, but you have Weebay, Savino, just I think to some degree, Little Man. Yeah. They have some enforcers.
Right. But,
3, 4, however many, and how many stash houses do they have, right? They don't have muscle for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to think about that Omar probably knows where the muscle is and that they've, that if they're there or not.
Yeah.
And so Yeah, okay. I didn't really connect with me because I'm like, how does he know that they don't have a MAC-10?
Yeah.
Like, but there's probably a good reason why they don't want to have a gun in the
right.
Oh, I don't know. That feels a little strange to me.
I know it didn't totally sit well with me either.
Yeah, but on
it's
the
a
other,
little flawed.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
just call it that.
I think at the end of the day, we always like if you're gonna pick nits, like the writers, if it didn't play, the writers would have come up with another way that would have made more sense. So you just have to kind of that's where you're gonna have to be like, yep, it's Omar, and he's got this kind of supernatural power, but it feels a little strange, but he's so much fun.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Just and I was thinking about that too, like. There's the whole game day or the game motif throughout this whole episode. And I know that the Three Little Pigs is not a game itself, but I like the fact that he references a nursery rhyme to something or whatever. It's just kind of just a great little comment.
He's the one that was whistling The Farmer in the Dell.
Right.
I mean, he likes his fairy tales.
Yeah,
or he
exactly.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
He's a peculiar guy.
Yeah.
That's why we like him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just it is. I think the important thing to kind of connect to is that I think right before this is when he's in his house and he just sits down with another stash of vials that he took off of somebody.
Yeah.
So and actually I just realized this as well is that so he took that and he it didn't really like connect to anything and then I just realized. This is how he's able to give away this stash that he just took, and he can do it for free. Is because I got quote unquote got paid by taking somebody's from somewhere else, and now I'm taking Avon's shit and I'm handing it over to Prop Joe a little bit later. So okay, all right. So that's the Omar steals or basically just.
Yes.
Gets the donation.
The continuation of Omar's vendetta. First, he gets their drugs, and then we'll see what happens. Herc and Carver are feeling, mighty pleased with themselves after bringing in all that money, and we see that they are in the room with the wiretap, and they are listening to Poot and his lady friend having phone sex. And, it is dirty. Yep. And I'm not going to repeat any of that stuff here.
Thank you.
No worries. Nothing about donuts here. Oops. Okay. That was so gross.
I'm just going to pause here. Ellie is one of my best friends in the whole world. And this was like, I was watching this. I'm like, we're going to have to talk about this scene. And it's like, I do not, under any circumstances, want to talk about this scene. On the other hand, it's funny. It's pretty funny.
Oh, my God. It's just funny to me because it's like, I don't see Poot as some kind of, like sexy sexual character.
Yeah.
So that he's the one that's having the phone sex is just kind of hilarious.
On a payphone, too.
On a payphone. Yes. Anyways, so, Herc and Carver are giggling over all of this. Yeah. And, Prez Bluesky comes in and he's like, hey, if it's, 90 seconds is not permanent then or pertinent, you need to turn it off. And he's like, I'm not transcribing this. And he gets out disgusted. I just love that, like, Prez Bluesky now is like the moral compass for the group. God, when did that happen? Anyhow, so and then McNulty comes in and he basically says the same thing. Although he sits and keeps listening with them instead of leaving. And then, but it does in a way pay off because they get info on Wallace that he helped the tower crew get that stick-up boy we hear. So, yes, it is pertinent for sure. Yeah. McNulty says, you're just going to have to figure out how the previous 10 minutes were justifiable. And we get the jokes about the 3 holes and the 3 stash houses. Yep. Yes, indeed. So, some good information from that.
Yep. I don't know who the actress was, but I feel like she was carrying that whole dialogue. that dialogue. So good on her.
Yes.
But yes, let's get off of this.
Okay.
Sorry that was a regrettable turn of phrase. But let's move on from this statement right away, please. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So Freeman and Kima pick up Shardine, and they give her no choice. As we talked about, Shardine doesn't realize that she has the right to not just go in for questioning, but they play it hard and fast, like she's got no choice. So we see Shardine at Freeman's desk. She is taking an interest in his dollhouse miniatures. The way she behaves, we can see that she is the sweetheart that they say she is. Yeah. Like, she is thoughtful and kind, and, she is living kind of a rough, hard life for somebody who is very tender inside. Anyways, okay. So we're seeing that innocent side of her. They question her about what's happening at Orlando's. She says, I don't know anything. I'm the drinks girl. I just work for tips. And they mention Keisha, and, she's like, oh, I just haven't seen her for a while. And they decide, okay, we need to get her to turn at this point. And they take her to the morgue, and she sees Keisha's body and describe what happened to her. And it is horrific, like for just us as audience members, watching this, it's horrific. But that is her, not only her friend, but that is like, somebody who's like had been living the same life as her.
Right.
And they said, as Kima says, they throw them away. That's what they do, treat them like garbage.
Yeah.
In a dumpster.
Rolled up in a rug.
She overdosed, and whoever was with her didn't do shit but roll her up and throw her away.
Because that's how they do.
Positive for semen in vaginal, anal, and oral cavities. 3 different blood types, all secretors.
They fucked her and threw her away.
The only reason we knew who she was or what she was about or what she might mean to someone like you is because we've been keeping an eye on the people who run Orlando's for some time now.
We got ways of knowing what they're saying, what they're thinking.
You know what they said about this one?
That the stupid bitch didn't know how good the snort was at little man's party. That it was her own fault. That's how they do. They use people, and when they throw them away, they find a way to say it ain't on them.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
It's rough.
Yeah, and I'm just the way that the coroner talks about it, and just she had sex with 3 different guys at that party.
Yeah.
And so
3 different DNA.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's obviously, I'm trying not to. I just the whole scene from the last episode was that Weebay takes her into the bedroom.
Yep.
And he has sex with her, whatever. And, but she'd had sex with other guys or whatever. It's, it's like Savine Stinkum and Little Man were there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point is that, as he said, like you had 3 guys had sex with, not one of them thought maybe I should get her to a hospital or whatever, not that that's really surprising, but yeah, as you said, it's really shocking. And
well, and I mean, we say had sex with her, but like she is clearly under the influence of sexual assault
yes,
too,
correct,
right? Like,
correct. Yeah. I mean that. Yeah, So
when they say what they tell her what they said, like, oh, she can't handle her, whatever. Was that? Where did they get that information?
From the wire. They heard it on the wire.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or at least that's what they
said.
That's what Freeman and Kima said. I guess there's a question about maybe they just said it.
Yeah.
They could have made up anything.
They could
really.
have made up anything. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. There's no reason not to trust him at this point. So.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and I think just to back up for a minute, like when you saw D'Angelo and Chardine, this was a few episodes ago, where D'Angelo says, when it comes to pussy, ain't no free, and it just totally turns off Chardine. You see, just that consistent through line of like she's not the kind of person that takes that lightly. Like she's got, whether you want to call it self-respect or some kind of internal moral compass that is keeping her at least at arm's length of that life.
Yeah.
So
because she talks about like there are some girls that turn tricks, or some girls that do drugs. I just work at the bar for tips.
Yeah,
and that's where she's keeping it.
Right,
just
exactly.
pays the rent.
Yeah.
She could do more, but she doesn't.
Yeah, and I think that actually, I'm like pulling at loose strings to be sure here, but when Orlando went in and got dressed down by Avon and Stringer, you had him get thrown out onto the floor of the office.
Yeah.
Chardine looks back, and I think she's like doing a crossword or something like that. And she looks like shocked.
Yeah.
And the other strippers are just laughing, to themselves.
They're completely unfazed.
You get, so anyway. So just kind of one more like reinforcement of the read that Kima had on Chardine last time. So, okay.
All right. Well, we have a quick aside. Poot seeing Wallace buying drugs.
Yep.
Probably with that money that Dee gave him. So, we know that Wallace is not going back to school.
Right.
And okay, so we have that. We know Wallace is going in deeper. We go to Herc and Carver, who are on the roof of one of the apartment buildings at the low rises. No one's around. And they're like, what the heck is going on? Something is not right here. And so they decide to go driving around. There is no one in West Baltimore. And so they, look around, they see that there's a basketball game going on. What the heck is this? And they go up and they talk to somebody and they find out it is the West Side versus the East Side projects. These are the basketball teams that we have been, this is what they got the sandbagger for. Okay, so Avon and Prop Joe, who is the leader of the East Side Projects, are kind of getting chippy with each other. It's mostly Avon. And so Herc and Carver chat with Bodie and Poot while they're there to get a little more. I just love their exchanges.
Yeah,
Love,
exactly.
Taking some time. Well, I'll take some time off too.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember what they
Aren't you on
said.
the clock?
Yeah. Aren't you on the clock?
We on break.
Yeah. It's so great. Anyways, they overhear Poot say, check out Avon when Avon's kind of getting upset. And to his credit, it's like, I think Avon's here.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how they don't realize it's like the richest looking guy on the sideline wearing bright red, but that's Avon.
Yeah.
And so, they kind of, let them know back in the dungeon, hey, we think Avon's here.
Yeah.
So, okay, something's going to happen with that. In the meantime, we go to Bubs. Bubs is knocking on the door of someone's house, and somebody answers the door. This young woman answers the door. We don't really know who she is.
Right.
Maybe it's his sister. I'm not sure. He tells her he wants a place to stay and to get clean.
No.
I ain't even asked for nothing. Oh, what's up, Tasha? You got too pretty, girl.
Go inside, Tosh.
Thinking about getting clean again. Was thinking, I ain't got no other place to go. Maybe that's wrong, right? That ain't right, right? Sorry. I'm sorry.
Wait. Back door only. There's an old sofa in the basement, and I'll throw you down some blankets. You try to come up those stairs, and I'm gonna call the police on you. I swear I will.
And, again,
Right.
is kind of the operative word here.
Yep.
And he can already see she is very uninterested in helping. Little girl comes up. He's like, oh, whatever he says, Tasha, I can't remember what the little girl's name is.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're so cute and you've grown up so much. And she's like, go back in. So, he's like, he can tell, like, I shouldn't have asked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go. And at the last minute, she gives him a key to get in the back and stay in the basement. It makes you wonder, what the heck did he do?
Yeah.
That burned this bridge so terribly.
Yeah.
But it's clearly there's still something there because
Yeah.
she wants to offer him some kind of assistance. And
Yep.
so, next we see Bubs. He is in the basement and he is like plucking his mustache as he, ow, right?
Yeah.
But I guess if it is distracting you from whatever your withdrawal symptoms are,
Right.
that's fine. And he's smoking, but he still has the keychain.
Yep.
He has kind of an interesting laugh there at
Yeah.
the end that I don't know what to make of that.
It's a good question. I have to believe that it's that feeling of, I don't know, a little bit of security maybe, where he feels like he's got a roof over his head and he, I don't know, just feels like, that kind of, you get under a blanket and you feel like kind of cozy kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I,
Okay.
but yeah, I think that's my best.
Yeah.
my best
I
read on
just
it.
couldn't tell if it was like rueful or kind of a little charmed or I just couldn't tell what was in that.
That's a good question though, actually. And then, I could see where your doubt would come in, and it would be interesting to know, like, do you feel like there was anything sinister, you know, like I got one over on this person.
Yeah.
Or did you have that kind of inkling as well?
Or just like, maybe even if it's just like, look at me here again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah.
It's just something to kind of put a pin in.
Okay. So next time we see Bubs. I'll definitely want to try to get a prediction from you on that. So, but anyway, we can keep going.
All right. I did that a little out of order because that's kind of the end of what happens with Bubs.
Before I forget.
Yeah.
There's a great moment to me anyway, where he goes in through the picket fence and there's a flag at the corner of the gate and he salutes the flag, which I just thought was pretty funny.
I know, that was kind of interesting.
I don't know why he did. I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense to me that he did that, but he just he did it. So, and it just always stood out to me. Just a funny moment, like maybe he's like doing it in a mocking way or whatever. Or, I don't know. But obviously it is very much like a suburban, or at least like, I don't know what you would call it. Like there's a symbol of this kind of suburban life or whatever it is. So anyway, and I just thought it was a funny thing. So
for sure, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. So let's keep on moving on here. Oh yeah. Okay, so back to the basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See here. So Daniel says, "Oh, hey, whoa, Avon's there. We might be able to get an ID on him." And, McNulty's like, what's the point in doing that? Like, we either get him on the tap or we don't get him. And Daniel's like, I'm in narcotics, and in narcotics, we follow the guys.
Right.
Which just, this part, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like Daniels should know better for his position, for his level of experience, but he's still like, oh, we're going to go out there and get him or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't quite work for me, but it's, I'm cool with it because the exchange that happens there later is good. Is interesting.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like, why is Daniels of all people like, oh yeah, we got to go out there?
I mean, you kind of, I guess you do what you know, right?
I guess so.
And the notion that Avon is out, I guess in the sunshine.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about that, but like that's kind of what must be happening is, hey, this guy's gonna come out and make himself known.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna go follow him because why not? Now, I think while McNulty is obviously proven correct.
Yes.
I think in Daniel's instinct is not wrong. It's not like it was a huge waste.
Yeah.
But he probably should have known better. And like the fact that he's like, this is how we make cases in narcotics and it's like, it's not going to work.
But try to do it in Daniel's voice. This is how we make cases.
I can.
In narcotics.
Yeah.
I love his voice.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I was just watching a cartoon and he's like, it did not last more than a season, but he was one of the main, he was the voice of one of the main characters in this. I'll think of what it is, but it was so undeniably him from the very first episode that I was like, oh my God, it's Lieutenant Daniels. And there's even some references to.
Oh, no way, really?
Yes. Okay. I'll have to find it and bring it up here later. But it is so funny. I think he even makes a reference to McNulty in this cartoon, which is like,
oh my God, you're kidding.
Yeah, which is so about like, I don't know, like Greek gods.
Interesting.
As superheroes or something.
Okay.
It is really weird.
All right. Well, so I was going to
Somebody is listening to this and be like, it's this one, you idiot.
Right.
Yeah,
well, I can tell you that he was in DuckTales. He was a voice in DuckTales, but I'm sure that's not what you were talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
so
God.
the reboot, which I will recommend. It's a good show. Good. My kids really like it. And anyway, I'll leave it there.
Okay.
His character is, he's great in that as well.
Man,
not surprisingly.
We're missing him.
Yep.
We are missing him. Okay, halftime in the game. West Side is 12 up, and Prop Joe says, hey, you want to double down? Let's just make this a real, six figures. And Avon says yes. Dumb, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, it's your money, whatever. Okay, Sidner knows that one picture of Barksdale from before. And so, in the meantime, East Side brings in their own ringer at this point, right? He is small. They're like, get that midget off there. But he is mighty. And so an East Side player gets fouled. Wait. West Side player gets fouled. East Side wins.
Yep.
And, the ref makes maybe a questionable call. Barksdale, scares the shit out of this ref, basically. Goes over there like, what are you doing?
Yo, ref, what the fuck? The boy was fouled, clear, straight up. How you gonna not call that?
Look, if you want, I can put time back on the clock, replay it.
You talking about a do-over, baby? Are you talking about a fucking do-over? That's not how the game is played. You can't do that. Fuck, believe this shit, nigga. Talking about doing it again.
Look, I don't want any trouble, okay?
Ain't gonna be no trouble over no ball.
Man, you're supposed to be the ref, right? Why don't you stand up for your fucking self, you pussy? You can't just let any old motherfucking nigga get in your face. You understand? And walk away. Walk away. Turn around and walk the fuck away.
And he's like, well, do you want to, you want me to put time back on the clock? You want to do over? We don't do a do over. And then, when Prop Joe comes in, like, he kind of shifts to basically berating the ref for not standing up for himself.
Yeah.
And then tells him to go away.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Oh, it is the most uncomfortable exchange.
Yeah, truly.
And the guys, can't make eye contact. And you could just see he's like, I don't want to die because I reffed this game for you guys.
Right.
Oh, God, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really brutal. It's nice when Prop Joe steps in and says, this is not going to escalate.
Right.
But it is kind of crazy. And you totally feel for the ref. Like, oh, crap. I screwed up and this is going to be the end of me. I don't know what Avon's going to do.
Yeah.
And he's all, on the other hand, what was Avon? If Avon was like not going to escalate it further, he was just getting in the guy's face just because he was pissed off. And then, what was he hoping would happen? Like he wanted the guy to be like, well, sorry, I missed the call and too bad. Right.
Ugh.
I mean, but really it was Avon's fault because why did Avon not have his ringer man up on Prop Joe's ringer?
Yeah,
I don't understand it. He had this other poor guy, like trying to defend the ball, whatever. He was like probably a point guard. Like, where's your guy? What's he doing?
Your good guy on that other good guy.
He clearly had some defensive skills. What's going on
Ridiculous.
here? So you brought on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Prop Joe had his clipboard and he was using his clipboard.
Exactly. So, but as you said, like it's just interesting because you have this, civilian interacting with a drug kingpin who could have him killed without, a second thought, really. Ugh. Okay.
Yep. Would never agree to ref that game.
Right. I mean, right.
No, thank you.
I mean, how much you
which
getting paid
one
for
do
that?
you piss off? I don't know. Who's the scarier one?
Yeah.
Okay. Back at the dungeon, McNulty is not gone
Yep.
anywhere. Prez is still there because he's grounded, right?
Yep.
And they find out from a call. Let's see here. Oh, we're on the stash.
Yep.
Yeah. Why did I write that in my notes? Remind me.
Because McNulty hears the phone call between two guys.
Yes.
He says, that's it, we're on the stash.
Okay, yes. And so they need to pretend that one of them witnessed. So he writes Sidner's name down as saying he was on the roof to witness the call, even when he wasn't.
Yep.
Prez is like, oh, he was not there. He's like, yes, he was.
Yeah.
So again, Prez, the moral compass, McNulty, the good guy that's, he is gonna get away with what he can get away with.
Yep.
And he knows right where the line is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he knows, 100%. He knows where he can fudge and say, what lawyer is going to say no, this is going to question this one call,
right?
Kind of thing. So, yeah. And it really, though, interestingly, that stupid criminals make stupid cops line.
Yeah.
Criminals that play outside the, or I guess like it forces the cops to kind of play outside the rules a little bit here and there. So, anyway, so yeah, it is interesting though that it sets this up. I like that it sets up now this kind of next level, right? Okay, now we're chasing this new thing, but of course you're getting there through effectively illegal means. So we'll see if that plays a role.
Right. Okay, in another part of the dungeon, Shardine is still talking to Freeman, tells Freeman she was with Dee. Freeman encourages her to be the one who steps up and makes a difference. And he gives her, as we had hoped, a little, something from one of his little dollhouse creations, a little cradle with the baby. And so, just, I don't know, like a little gesture of good faith.
Yeah.
And she's just touched by that. So we know now Shardine is going to be working with them.
Right.
Yeah. We're feeling pretty confident about that at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so Daniel Sidner and Herkin Carver, after the game, try to follow Barksdale, and Barksdale's changing up his route clearly, and at one point he disappears, and kind of due to where everybody is positioned, Daniels goes in pursuit of him, and it's very shortly after he starts driving Avon, passes him and gives him this wagging no finger in slow-mo. And we know, like, you look at Daniel's face and you can tell Daniel's face is like, yeah, this was a mistake.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the stupid criminals make stupid cops.
Right.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where we get into that. Let's see here.
I love that. I love that scene because, well, first of all, one thing we'll have to put up on our socials is like the actual traffic pattern that they follow, because those are all real streets and it's all a real neighborhood that they follow around. But it felt very tense.
Yes.
Yes, and
definitely.
I loved that part, like the way that they kind of constructed it, and there's all the, like, the way that the camera pans move and things like that. And, I feel like they did do a little bit of magic. Like, how the hell did Avon, like, get into that alley and they didn't know where he was and whatever. But nevertheless, but it really was pretty neat. And then, of course, like, the way that they sort of close the scene with the slow-mo and the finger wag just tells you that, your standard tactics are not going to work.
Yes.
So it's a fun scene, and I just like that.
Yeah. And Daniel's he's like, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows he got.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So, this is where Freeman makes the case for following the money, and they kind of lay out just how much Avon's got to be making. And it turns out to be, when you look at everything, it's $1 million a month that he's pulling in from this. And they're like, where is it going? What does he have? Like, we don't see this money. What is going on with this money? And, they point out front companies, the properties, and political contributions, $75,000 to legal contributions. And they bring up, Day, like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
and this is what I'm talking about. It's like, like, McNulty has been saying the same thing, but when Freeman lays it out for Daniels, it is in a very beautiful package. like this is the route you must take.
Yeah.
You've got the likes of Damian Price, aide to a state senator, driving out $20,000 in cash from the projects whenever he feels it. Now, I know you don't want to hear this, Lieutenant, but the money is real and it's everywhere. And more than the drugs, it's the money that matters.
It's like when McNulty comes up, it's like Daniels is just very instantly like, I don't know. There's like a wall there or something, resistance there. But when Freeman presents it like this, he does it with just like the right amount of like finesse and evidence and everything that you can tell. Like Daniels is like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Freeman times it really well too.
Well, and I think that, the what Freeman is obviously getting to, and I think it's kind of amazing to think about. This is 2002. This episode was aired. And just thinking about how they were talking about, like, the money in politics, how much of an effect, how potentially, like, it can corrupt the whole system because you have a drug kingpin that's paying, we don't know what he's paying for at this moment, but the fact that he's buying empty storefronts and things, like, clearly there's something going on and they've got some kind of plan. And, the show is kind of bringing this to light that, if you get a politician in your pocket, you have real influence, or you can take advantage of things that are happening, in city government. So it's, and I think that when you would first watch this again, like 20 years ago, or if you're much younger, if you're like 25 and you're not particularly like following politics very much. This part you'd be like, whatever. I don't need to pay attention to this. But now that I'm in my mid-40s, I'm like, oh my God! Like if you have access to a politician, you can do some real damage.
Yes.
Or boost yourself up way more. So yeah,
that's clear.
So and so obviously, as you said, but of course, like Freeman just laying everything out very clearly. Here's the risk that we have, and the fact that he's not putting in, he's not spending the money on this, that, the other thing. It's going somewhere.
Yeah.
So he's buying influences is pretty clear.
Oh, we're gonna get to see now. Is this my favorite scene? I don't know, but this is the scene I've been waiting for, where Shardine starts packing up her shit.
Yep.
And Dee is mad. He's like, go, go, and if you want to go or whatever. And he doesn't understand why she's leaving. She doesn't talk to him, and she asks him, do I look like trash to you? Or something. I think she says, do I look like trash to you? And he's like, this is not about what you do.
Yeah.
And then she makes clear that she knows what happened to Keisha, and she knows that he lied.
Yeah.
And I don't know if did he have a role in wrapping her up and dumping her, do you think?
I assume so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she's we know she's done with him, and she is gonna work with cops. Yeah. Happy about that. Okay, so Daniels is looking at the money. A lot of money is missing, and he says, we have, it confirmed that it was 22,000, and you only turned in 15,000, guys. So what the heck is going on? And it's clear Daniels thinks that they stole it, and this has been definitely set up earlier. We think they stole it, and so Herc's like, I didn't steal it, or I would tell you if I stole it.
I got towers 2, 3, 5, and 6, and another one labeled P for the pit. Where's 1 and 4? It's on the wire. We took them for 22. You shitheads turned in 15. Where's the rest?
Lieutenant, we ain't got...
You have till roll call tomorrow to crawl back to whatever ruck you hid it under. It comes back and it goes to ECU. This doesn't happen. Not with me. Not with my unit.
So they go back to the car and they tear it apart. It's so junky. There's so much crap in there. It's unbelievable. And finally, Carver finds it, and they're just like breathing this sigh of relief. The money fell down in the wheel well. And I mean, I had totally at this point forgotten that the bag had torn open when they were coming out of the car and walking down the, walking through the car garage. Yeah. And, they're bringing the money back. Daniels has told them, like, it better be back. This does not happen with my crew. But they're like, do you think he's going to believe it? And they're like, would you? Yeah. So now they have this, kind of shadow hanging over them that they have maybe done something really, not okay at all.
Yeah. 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 So I want to just cover the kind of the approach from Daniels. That scene, again, just Lance Reddick is just sick.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just, he is not putting up with any bullshit. No. There is no like, hey, can you guys tell me what he's like, he doesn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't.
He is, I don't want to hear any excuses. Oh my God. And he's so soft spoken that every word is like a punch in the face, And he's like, you have till roll call. I'll play the clip because I shouldn't have did it. I mean, and of course, like, what is he referencing? He's referencing his own corruption in a way, right? Yeah. He's like, I lived through this. I am not allowing other cops to do this the way that I got away with it, essentially. And I wonder if it's partly because he doesn't want corruption in his unit, but also he's trying to protect them from themselves.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to kind of give it both because,
I think he's
probably,
true.
He might be looking out for his people too. So,
anyway,
and it just like when they start to like, Lieutenant he just, nope, I don't care. Yeah. You have to roll call.
Right.
It's just so good. So, and of course, like, it is pretty funny, just the setup about Herc, like, hinting that they should just take some, and it actually ended up coming to pass that they didn't turn in some amount of money totally inadvertently, right? It's not like they counted how many bundles of cash they had and didn't realize that they were short.
Yeah.
That's a tricky, Benedict case.
Yeah, I know. If they had never even come up with the idea, they're though Daniels might still have thought something fishy was going on, their conscience would be clear about it, right? That maybe that would show through somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So do you think, I know that Carver said that, he's not going to believe us or, effectively. Do you think that they told Daniels that here's what happened? Or would you?
I was hoping because when they're in the garage, there's a couple of cops walking. Looking like maybe they said they were tearing up the car and told somebody, and it got back to Daniels, so Daniels know that they were really looking for the money. I don't want them to be in trouble. I don't know. I hope that somehow they convince Daniels that really they lost some money in the wheel well. It's all legit.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I like to think, I guess if it were me, I'd say, believe it or not, this is what happened.
This is what happened.
And just don't be like, oh, you got to believe it. No, it's just this is what happened. Believe me or not, or don't. And then,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's all they can do.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
But don't fuck with Daniels.
Yeah, don't. No. Okay, so, we finally get back to Omar. I'm going to finish up with Omar here.
Yeah.
Omar's got those vials, and we see that he is at Prop Joe's, and he gives the vials to him for free.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you can have them. All I want to know is how to get a hold of Avon. And, he's like, well, I page him when I want him. So he's like, okay, I'll take that number. And then I would like a code for one of his people as well. And they're like, I think Weebay uses 07. And, he says, look, this is great for you. I'm going to eliminate Avon and you'll be the only game in town.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Prop Joe kind of says it's not a good day for Avon. He lost all this money to me from the game, and now you're here and wanting to smoke his ass.
Yep.
So yeah.
It's an interesting question. I think from Prop Joe's calculus, Omar makes the case that it's good for business if Avon goes down. But for one kingpin to go after the other like that, to say effectively use Omar as a knight or whatever, that part is kind of interesting as well. So didn't take a lot of convincing, which to me feels like, okay, I guess I can see that. But Prop Joe just basically giving up Avon. It's curious. It's curious why he would make a play like that.
Yes,
kind of randomly.
and you kind of, I don't know. Maybe we'll get more into it later, but just that. Avon's if it doesn't work out, Avon's gonna wonder, well, how did he know how to call me?
Yeah, exactly.
Where did he get that information from?
Exactly.
So then that seems like it would go back to Prop Joe, and then potentially you have a war on the projects, or I don't know. It's just me seeing ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, Avon and Weebay are at Orlando's, and they are counting out the money from the night. Orlando seems okay.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
He's like, you want anything? And he's like, I'll take a burger. So apparently after the beat down, all is well again with Orlando. So great. Weebay goes out to get the food, and we see outside that Omar is watching them. And suddenly Avon gets an emergency page from 07, from Weebay.
Yep.
And so he steps outside really quick, and he looks around, and he goes back in, and Omar, Avon's Orlando offers him the phone in there. He's like, no, we got to follow the rules. Because he likes his rules, right? And he goes to the payphone, and we've got a dial tone, and Omar walks up as he's dialing again. And right then, Weebay rolls up. Omar shoots at Avon. Avon dives behind a car. Weebay fires back, providing cover for him. Omar takes one in the shoulder and runs off.
Yeah. It was quite a scene.
It is quite a scene.
Yeah. And let's see, I'm trying to think of the symbolism of the payphone. Is there any symbolism of the payphone, the receiver just hanging down, swinging back and forth. I mean, it just
things are left unfinished.
Yeah, right, and missed opportunity.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just and of course, like I'll keep saying this, but the fact that there was no music,
right?
It's all action that's happening.
Yes.
It's just like you are caught up in this, and it's all you.
Yes.
That is exciting about it.
Yes.
So. Yeah, it's a great way to kind of finish now. But now, like Omar takes a shot, and so now we get to see like how is it going to respond.
Exactly. Yeah. It is so satisfying though to see Avon scared.
Yeah,
like terrified.
Yeah,
like it's the first time you really get to see that. Emotion in him.
Yep.
And it's pretty like yeah. Yeah. Oh, but he didn't get him.
Right.
So. Yeah.
Yep. So and that covers the end of the episode. I guess was there anything? I'm trying to think if there was something I wanted to mention about the Orlando thing, but I guess no. I think you covered it. It is kind of funny to me that Orlando he's just kind of back in the fold. That probably got like I figured he'd be in the doghouse.
I know exactly, but no, they're gonna get him a burger. Like I beat you up. It's cool.
Yeah. I say to my kids on time here, or I'll say like. I'll tell him to do something, and then I say here at the end because that's what Orlando says.
He does. He's to the ladies,
see you tomorrow on time here, and I love that line. Okay, yeah, and I mean it was as you said, like when you kind of the storylines are so interwoven now. Like this one, you really had to go kind of chronologically. Yeah. I did like how they, you have the main game of the basketball game,
right?
Which weirdly. Wasn't really that much of the episode.
Yeah, it's not. It's a very small piece of the episode.
But of course, like substantively, it feels very big.
Yeah.
And so we talked about this kind of beforehand, but you have like the basketball game, you have the scavenger hunt, you have hide and seek, and then you have Bubbles and Wallace wanting to get out of the game.
Yeah.
So you have the kind of the drug game itself. Yeah. So anything in those particular where you're like, maybe that where that aspect kind of caught you were like, oh, this is kind of interesting the way that like the scavenger hunt part I was not really expecting that at all, and how you kind of have to start to see it that way, and how there are rules to that game.
Yes, I love that aspect, the scavenger hunt. Like you feel like you're on, I don't know, you feel like you're one of the detectives as you're going through that. So that I just found super appealing through this in a way that I haven't experienced yet in the episode. Yeah,
it's hard to make paperwork be an interesting chase, but they did a good job with that. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts about this episode? We're going to cover a couple of other topics.
No, just that basketball game. Though we're talking about it is a small portion there. It is like the colliding of worlds, right? Because you have so many of them there at that same spot, and the final contact with Avon, brief though it is I don't know, it's like it is very much like a kind of an apex.
I agree. I mean, kind of you see each other for the first time, and now you put a face to the name, and now it gets more real.
Yeah,
for somebody.
Exactly. Yeah, real and personal.
Yeah. And actually, the fact that McNulty says I'm chasing this guy, for him it kind of like it's a little bit of a game too. But for him it's been real for quite a long time, and for Daniels' unit, it's now seeing Avon directly. Now it feels more real to them. Yeah. So everybody's kind of bought in. Okay, I did want to mention a couple things. So the killer cameo I wanted to give. Do you have anybody that stood out to you this time?
No, I can't think of anybody that really. I mean, the sister.
Yep.
Bubs' sister is really powerful.
Yep. That's who gets my vote.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we get to see her. If she becomes a more mainstay character later.
She does come back, but I'm giving it to her because this is the only time I think we see her this season.
Okay,
so
cool.
Her name is Eisa Eisa Davis, and she has actually had a relatively good career. So
really?
She's been in a lot of different TV shows. She's got a pretty long IMDb profile, so it's good for her. And the way that she, just to go into this, she opens the door and she's just got this look on her face, just ice cold.
Okay.
I just like, you're like, yeah, you have to stand back, and when then she says, go inside, Tosh, and like she just has no she's like 100% defenses all the way up, and then it like, she does like warm up just a little bit, but it really, like, without saying a lot, says quite a lot.
Yes, exactly. About the history and what happened. And
So I really appreciate her performance. I mean, I think that it's interesting to think about the other people in all the people in the crowd, the basketball game. I thought was pretty good, and I do like the basketball coach. He's so weasolly.
Yes, agreed. Yes, and he does it well.
Yeah, and the basketball player himself, he's got that kind of self-assurance. So those guys did well, but I thought Bubbles' sister. Sorry, am I giving that away? Did you know it was her sister? Does he say it?
No, I guessed that it was his sister, but now I know.
Sorry about that. But anyway, I know I spoiler. So she gets my vote. I did have one Mr. Nugget life lesson.
Okay.
Any life lessons for you out of this?
None that come straight to mind.
Okay, look the part, be the part, motherfucker.
Oh my gosh, that is so good.
Hey, yo, what's up, Playboy? How come you wearing that suit, B? For real, it's 85 fucking degrees out here and you trying to be like Pat Riley.
Man, look the part, be the part, motherfucker.
Nigga, please, you walking around with a fake fucking clipboard. You can't even read a playbook. Be for real.
I love that line. So, and even when it's not 85 degrees outside, gotta look the part.
Yeah.
So but it really is like, and Deion Sanders had this line: look good, feel good, play good, get paid good. And so you see that theme. But
I like it.
I definitely think like, hey, if you want people to like have a perspective on you, you got to look the part. Even though you might be good at your job, you're on the sideline, and you're not wearing a suit, then people will be like, well, I don't trust this guy. I don't know. Is he going to be a good X's and O's guy?
Yes.
So, and then I think that was pretty much it. I think I'll just add that the music playing when they're in the club and right before the Omar shootout, it's called Nights Like This. So I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yes.
But that's everything I've got for the episode. I did also forget. I needed an opportunity to say this from the last episode. One of the funniest lines of the whole series.
Hey, look at him, man. I don't know nothing about Stank getting dropped, and I don't know nothing about Bay taking one in the leg either. I mean, I don't know nothing about none of this crazy nonsense.
Well, I don't know. It came back to us quick.
Well, you know how that be. Everybody want to believe the worst about Omar. But live and let live,
I don't see you letting him slide on Brandon.
Well, if I was going to come after certain people, I definitely wouldn't want to give y'all 5 people any cause for concern. I mean, there are some rules here, right?
Rules?
Yeah. No mistakes, no bystanders, no taxpayers getting caught up in the mix. I mean, you just get in close and you hit the right nigga.
And lose the gun afterward, that'd be a rule too, I think.
One thing, Omar. Having Stinkum drop kind of fucks us on our thing.
How so?
We had Sting caught up with 4 G-Packs on a re-up. And maybe we could have built something on top of that. Roll him up and string him, man.
Now he's got no roll to him. So the point is, Omar, while we're all grateful for the case you gave us on Bird, and we all have a certain admiration for your do-it-yourself nature.
We need you to hang back.
Hey, look, man, it ain't all up to me, right? Huh? I got a bounty on my head.
Yeah, we saw the van.
Look, man, I do what I can do to help y'all. But the game is out there, and it's either play or get played. What, that it? Gentlemen, ma'am?
Lester, are we still cops?
Technically, I suppose so.
Okay, I was just checking.
Technically, I don't know how I forgot to mention that. So good, just what a line.
That is good.
I think I'm mentioning it now because the interaction between McNulty and he's so settled in now. Lester's really settled in, and I just like that they're now kind of bonding in this almost like the way that Bunk and McNulty had bonded as well. So you got to get these like yin and yang kind of characters.
Yes.
And so Wrestling with the Angels is also like, yin to yang kind of thing. So, but anyway, so let's ask now, how did the episode hold up for you?
I think it holds up really well. Yeah. I mean, geez, I feel like I was just reading a couple days ago about some political corruption, somebody being paid off. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, there's a whole Bob Menendez trial or the New Jersey Center or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's the tale as old as time, unfortunately.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I think the only interesting thing about it is now with the name, image, likeness rule for college players.
Yeah.
This kind of influence is both happening like all the time, but it's also above board. So I don't know if that's okay the way that it goes. Right, you're not going to pay a kid $10,000 under the table anymore. You're just going to pay him straight out to do whatever.
Yes,
and it doesn't make any. The college players have that capability now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm glad. I mean, in a way, like glad that's happened because then somebody might not take money from a drug dealer or a drug lord because you're like, hey, why do I need to do that? I can get money anywhere, legitimately. So
yeah, that's a good point. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a big change, but that's only been around for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, exactly. Not that long at all.
Ago, so
yeah.
Okay. Predictions.
Oh man, I'm having a hard time with this one because I feel like now that Avon. I mean, he was before. He's like, how do they know this stuff? So now he knows that they're on him, and I just feel like he's gonna go somehow deeper underground or something.
Okay.
Somehow be harder even to find or to track than before. So I'm wondering if in this next episode there's like a bit of a dry spell with the intel. On the other hand, now they have Shardine, so I think Shardine's going to give them a lot of things that they didn't know before, or maybe she's going to be kind of like a mole and get some info. So I don't know. I'm kind of, those two things are sort of warring inside me. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a deep dive on some info thanks to Shardine, or if we they run into some issues like no phones are being used. They're definitely on me. We got to go even deeper underground.
Okay good. What do you think? Why don't you put a pin in the the Bubbles and his sister? What do you think is happening?
Man.
Did you have any thoughts about that, or just had?
I just don't think that this is rock bottom enough yet for Bubbles.
Okay.
So I would love it to be, love his character, but I just don't think this is the end of the journey for Bubbles.
Okay.
So I think Sister's going to get disappointed.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Sounds good.
Again.
Let me think if there's anything else that we need to, because you talked about Shardine. Any thoughts about, Omar's now been shot.
Yeah.
So question is like, any repercussions from that?
I mean, Omar has been working so hard to build up goodwill. Now he's, maybe doing a favor for Prop Joe. So I think he's going to heal up and regroup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to be looking for his next opportunity.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's what I say.
All right. Well, excellent episode as usual.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, it really now, like, everything is moving at full speed.
It really is, yeah.
All right, we will be back next week with episode 10, The Cost. And we'll see whether Ellie is once again, her predictions come true. But until then, I'm Chris.
I'm Ellie.
Thanks so much, Ellie. Have a great week.
Okay,
Talk
thanks
to you next
you too.
time.
All right, bye.
The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time.
Y'all enjoy your date now, you hear?